Hey y'all, so today's video is about consistency, and I found this quote that I really loved that I wanted to share with you guys. Hopefully this video won't go too long. Can never really tell, but yeah, this one is just really good for understanding that if you keep, what is the saying that it's like, if a car just standing still is going to be harder to push than a car that's already in motion, you know? And so this is kind of one of those life principles that I think is so good to have, to understand that circumstances in your life may change, but these are, consistency and determination matters more than unexpected circumstances. And there's going to be times where you have to adapt and change to what life throws at you. Nothing is ever guaranteed. We're not even guaranteed tomorrow. So it's like there's so many times where we have to adjust to what life is giving us. And during those adjustments, we learn more things about ourselves and we develop more character. So I'm going to go ahead and read this quote to you guys. I just thought it was so good. I wanted to share. So it says, in theory, consistency is about being disciplined, determined, and unwavering. But in practice, consistency is about being adaptable. Don't have much time? Scale it down. Don't have much energy? Do the easy version. Find different ways to show up depending on the circumstances. Let your habits change shape to meet the demands of the day. Adaptability is the way of consistency. And I just thought this was so good a perspective to have, because a lot of the time we have this kind of rigid view of exactly what our life is supposed to be, of exactly how we're going to get to our goals, exactly the path that we're going to take. And life is just not like that. The life is kind of like a river. There's so many different branches and different streams that branch out that take you different directions. And understanding how to listen to yourself and how to make decisions based on your own best interests and how to adapt to what life throws at you is ultimately going to be the determinator of your success, So for instance, because this is a health and wellness page, and I think I've touched on this a little bit, but I'll touch on it again. The worst thing that happened to me were my, injuries that happened back to back to back, and set me back a lot in my workout routine. But I realized that if I can't do, lifting heavy weights in the Olympic lifting that I was doing before, I can always do weight machines. If I can't do intensive cardio for whatever reason, my knees or running on pavement that hurts, I can walk on incline, and if, there's certain things that I need to scale or modify for myself because of my injuries, then that's perfectly okay. And as long as I'm putting feet to my goal every single day and having a healthy lifestyle, having a healthy diet, moving my body every day, whether that's just yoga at home or whatever it may be, I've realized that there's times where you have to change, there's times where you have to adapt. And my goal of being healthy and being physically consistent in my physical activity is ultimately, as long as I keep moving in that direction and continue to show up at the gym. And now it's just like, I've been sick for the past 7 days now, and I'm basically really getting over it right now, but that's totally put a wrench in my workout routines, and that's just life, you know what I mean? There's going to be scheduling, there's going to be things that come up. Your determination to get through all of that and keep pushing is what's going to determine your success in the long run, because there's going to be down days, there's going to be down months, there's going to be down seasons, but what you do over time consistently is the result that you'll have, And so for me, If I can't run, I'll walk. If I can't do the Olympic lifting, I'll do dumbbells, or I'll do kettlebells, or I'll do weight machines. It's like being able to adapt to what your body is needing in that moment. And obviously, when I'm talking about injuries, obviously not everybody goes through having multiple injuries back to back, but for me, it's really changed my perspective on, what my body is capable of, pushing my body, but also not pushing it to the point where it's breaking on me. And so there's a lot that goes into, and then when I'm talking about, just, career and life and, jobs and relationships, like the one thing that we can always count on in life is change. That's the one thing that no matter what we do, no matter how good our life is, or no matter how bad our life is, the one thing that we can always count on is change. It's gonna change. Things are going to change. For the good or the bad, they're going to change. You can't hang on to everything forever, And so learning to change with life and evolve with life, I've seen people who have stayed the exact same person as life has changed and thrown different things at them. And ultimately, they are unhappy because they didn't adapt to what life was giving them, and they didn't change their mental perspective around the unexpected things that life had thrown at them, right? And so they're ending up unhappy because they didn't adapt to the change. There's been times where I've been a prisoner of the past, where, whether that was a past relationship or, a past time in my life that just seemed more carefree. I was a prisoner to the past, feeling like the past had something for me that when I finally unlocked my brain and did away with that perspective, I realized that the present was all I needed to make a better future. All the choices I put into the present were creating a better future for me than even my past, And now I'm living in the most amazing future I've ever lived in. Just being at peace with myself and at peace with my life, all because I was able to let go of the past, And we see so many people hang on to the past, whether that's good memories or whether that's bad memories. They can't get over it, right? They can't get over the past. It's the type of people that peaked in high school and all they think about is high school or whatever it is, that these past memories. And a lot of the time I find that when you're a prisoner of the past, it's because you're unhappy with yourself and how life has changed. And, part of being, and I've said this multiple times on my channel and I'll say it again, but part of being a survivor and not a victim is understanding that when life throws you things that are not desirable, and when life changes your path in a drastic, dramatic way, things that might be out of your control, like an illness or a health condition, you always have a choice. You always have a choice. You can adapt to that change and make the best of it and change your perspective on something that is out of your control in order to have a happier life. Or you can be a prisoner to the past and become a victim of whatever circumstance life handed you and constantly play the poor me, pity me game. You know what I mean? And that's only going to lead you to unhappiness. So really the key to happiness is learning how to change with life, learning how to adapt with life, and in my personal opinion, and this is just my opinion, but I truly believe the universe will never give me something that I truly can't handle. And, the universe has probably dealt me out a lot of things that maybe other people couldn't handle. But for me, they knew how strong I was and how resilient I was. And they knew that eventually I would get there and I would become greater than what life threw at me. I would make lemonade out of lemons, and that's what life is all about. It's about adapting. It's about evolving. It's about changing your perspective on life and on yourself in order to be at peace. I would say that happiness is really about peace and it's really about acceptance, you know? Happiness isn't necessarily this really good feeling that just happens to people, you know? It's a lot of people who are truly at peace and happy with themselves have gone through unimaginable circumstances and hardships, have gone through unimaginable journeys, you know? And yet they're here still showing up to life and giving their best effort. And that all goes back to being able to adapt and being able to evolve and being able to take what life gives us and turn it into something great. And so I just thought this quote was so good. And it just says also, you know, I'm just going to read another part of it real quick. It says, consistency is about being adaptable. If you don't have much time, scale it down. If you don't know how much energy, do the easy version. I've done this with small things in my life, as small as working out, and with big things in my life, as big as making decisions to be, like I mentioned in my other video, as big as making decisions to be child-free, right? And so for me, that means that if something or an expectation that you have about yourself, let's start with the small version. Small version of that is like what I mentioned when you're working out. Scale it down. Do the easy version. If you're not feeling it that day, modify. Do what's good for you. Do what's good for your body. The bigger version of that is when you're coming up against life-changing decisions, and there might be an expectation that you've always had about your life that feels like this expectation has to be met in order for me to have a good life. Well, where is that expectation coming from? What is that expectation really? What is the driving force of that expectation? Is it coming from a fear-based mentality? Is it coming from a love-based mentality? Is it coming from a this is what you're supposed to do mentality, And how I was able to make the decision in my life, and how I've made many decisions in my life, is going the path of least resistance. There's some times in life where you do have to go against the grain, and you do have a passion to go counterculture to everything. And there's other decisions in your life where you can literally take the easy version. If this expectation is going to complicate my life to the point of stressing me out, let me just get rid of this expectation. Let me just switch it out with something else. Let me just choose the path that has the least resistance. That's just part of sanity in a life that is very complicated. There's times where you need to take the easy way out in order for you to be happy. For me, just to put a real example on this is my last video talking about being child free. The thought of having children was really stressing me out. It was stressing me out, the logistics, the day in, day out. And as soon as I took that off the table and was like, this is optional, you don't have to do this, suddenly I felt this peace and this relief come over me of just realizing this is going to be easier for me in my life with my health problems, with my conditions. Not choosing to not have children is going to be the path of least resistance than trying to force something and ending up unhappy, And so I just think it's so important whenever you're in a fork in the road, or whenever you have an unrealistic expectation that subconsciously you're holding yourself to, it's so important to take a step back and realize, what is this motivation coming from? Is it coming from an outside source, like people telling me what to do, myself, and just thinking life is supposed to be a certain way, society, what society expects you to do? These are all things you have to introspect and be like, but what do I want? What do I want out of life? If I have an unrealistic expectation of myself, I'm going to change it, or I'm going to take the pressure off myself in a way that allows me to adapt and change and evolve as the life grows and as life hands me different things, it's all about adapting, it's all about, because I have big dreams and I think it's important to have big dreams and I want everybody to dream big. But something that I've really been on my heart lately is I want to dream big, but I don't want to be a slave to my dreams. I don't want to put all of my worth and all of my identity and all of who I view myself as a person into making a dream come true. I believe everyone should make their dreams come true. I believe everyone should dream big, but I'm not willing to put all of my worth and identity into a dream or a goal that I have. And if I don't make that dream or goal happen, then I just mean nothing to the world or to myself. I am so much more deep and important and mysterious and a soul and a spirit on this earth that has absolutely nothing to do with my talents or how I succeed in this world. There's such a truth to I mentioned this in another video that I posted, but just like, flowers exist and trees exist and birds exist, and they just go on about their little routine. They go on, they get their food, they make their nests, they take care of their young. There's just, there's a simplicity in life there, they're not working to pay to live, they're gathering food. They're making nests, they're, creating a life for themselves, and they're just going about their business. And they don't have the burden of trying to fulfill a purpose. Their purpose is just to exist. It's just to be. It's just to enjoy life and to breathe the air and to enjoy nature. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I just feel like it's so important that we understand as humans that there is no greater joy than being at peace with ourselves. We don't have to have a purpose. We are the purpose, just living and existing and breathing and taking up space and enjoying the little things in life. That's enough, and we see so many people who have it all, but for some reason they're unhappy, and we see people who have very little, but just smile ear to ear, just full of joy, and that will tell you, money does not buy happiness, things do not buy happiness, like happiness is something, in my opinion, that comes from within, and it's about, being able to adapt and change to what life throws at you, being able to come above your circumstances and being able to make something beautiful out of nothing, and I just think it's so important that we understand that life is a maze. There's so many different doors. There's so many different paths. It's not an A to B. It's not one size fits all, we're all figuring it out on this journey. We're all just a part of this mysterious universe that we're all in. We're all on a floating rock in space, to put it all in perspective, and so there's things that you'll have to adapt to that literally just don't matter. And there's things that you'll have to adapt to that are just part of life, good or bad. And it's all about evolving and changing and becoming a better version of ourselves, giving ourselves the easy way out if we need to, being able to bend instead of break, being able to move with the times and staying determined, staying disciplined, staying consistent with the things that we love and with the things that bring us joy and the passions that we have. Consistency over time is the key to success. It's not about one thing you do. It's not about an overnight success. It's all about consistency over time. The things you do on the daily that bring you closer to your goals and your dreams. All right, y'all. So this was just a short little motivational piece based on this quote. I hope you can just take something from this. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I hope you know that you are so much bigger than a dream or a goal or a measure of success. You are the purpose. You are the reason. You existing in this world is enough. You are enough. All right, y'all. I will see you guys next time for more tips on health and wellness, not just in the body, but in the mind and the spirit as well.